What's going on, guys? Okay, it's Nick with the J8 gang back at it again. Just wanted to do a full game recap here for the New York Jets versus New York Giants. Jets escaped with a close 13-10 win in overtime to move to 4-3 going into next week's Monday Night Football game against the Chargers. The game, to say the least, it turned out to be exciting, but it was very sloppy and unfortunately riddled with more injuries. As Al Woods has been unfortunately confirmed with Robert Saleh via the press conference, he also tore his Achilles, and then they're waiting for reports tomorrow, I think he said, for the status of the Jets offensive lineman that went down, Connor McGovern and Wes Schweitzer. There's honestly, the game flow, there's not much to say. The Jets offense did not play well at all, but it being a torrential downpour and the Jets pretty much on the third the third center as well as the third string right guard, it does not bode well. Potentially, actually, even the fourth string right guard. It wouldn't bode well for any offense. They did have a spike play in the first half with the 50-yard Breece Hall touchdown on the little check down. Breece is a one of a kind. But with that said, the offense did then, Zach Wilson, when they needed it most, whenever the Jets thought, or Jets fans, I would say, thought that they were out of the game, and Zach Wilson, with 24 seconds left, he showed up and made two big-time throws. But that doesn't excuse the fact of going into that final drive, him taking horrible sacks, not getting rid of the ball. That still isn't. That's still not acceptable. It's still not good. But like I said, at the end of it, with all this kind of negative outlook, the Jets are still 4-3. They're still right in the thick of things. They got a big game next week going against the Chargers. The defense, on the other hand, they showed up except for pretty much the opening drive of the second half. They were a little undisciplined, though. They had a lot of penalty yardage go against them. A couple were questionable. A couple were just bonehead plays. So that's pretty much where they're at. They allowed a total of -9 passing yards. I believe they allowed 7 yards passing, and then with their 4 sacks, it pushed them to -9 yards passing, which is crazy. Obviously, the Giants are down to their third string quarterback throughout the game. But then also the defense didn't allow 203 rushing yards, with them knowing that's what they were going to do. So they do need to tighten up a little bit more against the rushing attack. But that's pretty much where it is. The special teams came out to play. It shows how important Greg Zuerlein and Thomas Morstead are. Thomas Morstead had, I think, 2 or 3 punts that landed inside the 5. Greg Zuerlein, obviously, when his time was called, nailed the 2 field goals that he needed to hit. Inversely, on the Giants side, their kicker missed 2 field goals. That is also to mention how the Jets got into field goal position, and the reason to tie the game was because the Giants kicker actually ended up missing 2 field goals. So you see, that's where some of the massive changing in the game is due to the special teams aspect. Jets made their kicks. Giants, unfortunately for them, did miss their kicks. But yeah, so I mean, it is kind of back to the drawing board with the offense. The third down efficiency was awful. 2 for 15 for the Jets. They had 62 total plays. I mean, besides that one drive where Zach Wilson threw those 2 long passes to get him in the field goal range, they pretty much held at bay. He had 3 chunk plays that were pretty much almost 90% of his yards. The 2 plays at the end of the game, and then the 50-yard dump off to Breece Hall. So things kind of have to be changed. Again, it's kind of tough to fully get a grasp around this game because it was so weird. Like I said, the Jets' offensive line troubles. It was torrential downpours throughout the game. But at the end of the day, the Jets did find a way. They did find a way to pull out the 13-10 win. Inversely to last year, when they kind of had a similar game script, they ended up losing the 10-3 game to the Patriots. This year, after the bye, still you have some questions that they didn't come ready to play, especially offensively and stuff like that. Defense did show up. But inversely to what happened last year, this year they actually made the plays that needed to be made. They got the win. Huge win. Going into next week, like I said, against the Chargers, and then after the Chargers is the Raiders. Two winnable games, two games that they are, in my opinion, have to have, especially against AFC, fighting for the playoff spot in the AFC. So we'll see how it is. Leave the comments down below what you guys think of the game and the outlook, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.